is a practicing adult ICU nurse, and Brooke Ann, who was able to retire her stethoscope from being an adult ICU nurse, and then Sarah Jones, who has
I
been
retired it at bedside. I still use it at the house all the time.
that is so true. And Sarah Jones, who's taken a lot of naturopath classes and is a kick-ass mama and has a lot of oily guru wisdom. We put this together because there's just a lot of questions, and we noticed there was a lack of a continuity of like education and space and community for people to come together and like really talk about the nitty-gritty of things that people need to hear about, and not in like obtuse ways, but like specific examples, specific testimonies from real people. What was a real struggle that you had and you did this real thing and it helped? Like, we need to know that, and we want to share that with people. So Oily Underground was birthed. It's every second Thursday of every month, unless we say otherwise. And we do all sorts of topics. If you ever have a topic idea, please throw it out at us. We love to hear more ideas. But this month is going to be led by Brooke Ann, who used to work at bedside at ICU. She is a mama and a homesteader and all things all natural and homesteady, which is amazing. But we're here to learn about how do we keep kids well. Impossible, mostly, first of all. But well, there are some real things that we can do that shorten the duration of a sickness, that decrease the severity of a sickness, and also decrease the frequency at which your kids are getting sick. So we're going to dive into the nitty-gritty about that. We're going to give you a lot of really good education perspective, and then we will share some real life examples and tips and tricks of what we do to help those kids. I will tell you that like recording will be going on and off several times, just because we try to separate stuff that is more nitty-gritty, like straight up examples of like, I did this and it worked, just because the FDA doesn't like that, to be completely honest with you. So
yeah, those are the things we can't post to YouTube.
Yep. All right, Brooke Ann, it's all you. And if you have questions throughout it, we will have time at the end for questions, but throw it in the chat. Sarah Jones and I will be managing the chat. We might be able to answer it right away, or we'll come back to it.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, hello, gang. I see a lot of names that I have not seen before, so very exciting to see you guys on here. I will throw out the caveat that, yes, the people who lead this are medically minded. Some of us are licensed in all these different ways. That does not mean we are saying that we are your physician, we are your nurse, we're your medical care team. That is not what we are. We are your friends who are empowering you with the knowledge that we have, so that you can go do your own really good research, your own really good digging, and you can go with tools that have you totally empowered to take care of your family at home. So that's where we're at. I just want you guys to have very real expectations and don't leave thinking that I'm prescribing anything, because I'm not. Okay, so today's talk is really geared towards, like she said, focusing a little bit on taking care of your kids, and it's before, during, and after illness, because there are very specific things you can do in each of those time frames to basically do everything that Sarah said, which is either prevent it, decrease severity, decrease longevity, all of those things. We're kind of wanting to bundle all of that and give you everything you need. So this will be fast paced. Don't worry, there is a recording and you can watch it and go back on our YouTube channel. So just buckle up and get ready. I know I talk fast. All right, so let's start with the before care. Before care, if I had to summarize it in one thing, it would be to think nutrient richness. Your body is a well-oiled machine as long as you keep it well-oiled, and the nutrients that you are consuming and making sure your body is able to utilize are what's going to help you stay fully functioning, healthy, and well. And so I broke it down into a couple of different like heavy hitters that I would say, these are the things always to have on hand. Be realistic. There are days, sometimes weeks at a time, that I fall behind on this stuff. So don't think I'm saying I'm perfect at it. Life happens, we get it, but have this on hand and in your memory to be using and going forward with. So the first thing is to have a very good multivitamin. I hate to break it to you, if you are buying your multivitamins from a drugstore, they're like absolute garbage. You might as well throw them away. I know they're probably better than nothing. So if that is truly all you can do, I get it. That's okay. But there's just not a lot. There's a lot of fillers in them. You only are able to uptake a very small percentage of the actual vitamin in there. And then even then, because of lacking counter agents, that's not even able to get to your cells the way that it's supposed to. So find a good multivitamin. I'm obviously here to tout the Young Living ones. They're chewables for kids. They taste really good. I like to sneak one once in a while. And they're very, very nutrient rich as far as what you're getting for a vitamin, a multivitamin. They're also, whenever you infuse something with essential oils, it helps your body grab hold of those nutrients, those vitamins, those minerals, uptake them more and utilize more of them. And there are studies that show that. If you want the link to that, you can message us afterwards. We can get that to you. But so first of all, you just want to have a good multivitamin. Second of all, you want to be taking care of your gut health. That's huge. A large portion of your immune system is housed in your gut. Yes, you have your lymphatic system. Yes, you have all of those things. But your gut bacteria play a role in up to about 80% of how well your immune system is functioning. So if you don't have good gut bacteria and you don't have good gut health, you're not going to be able to have a really robust, well communicating immune system. So probiotics are huge. I have, it's a brand called Metagenics, and they have ones for like newborns. They're little liquid drops. I started using those on all of my children as soon as they came out. I was giving them that. And then once they were old enough to switch them off of the liquid drops, I started utilizing the Young Living. They have like a probiotic and prebiotic powder. Prebiotics are basically the food to feed your probiotics. Probiotics are just the bacteria that are growing in your stomach. And a probiotic you take to help enrich that bacteria that's growing in your stomach. Another thing that would be maybe kind of off book, but good to consider for helping make sure you have like this good, healthy gut system is enzymes. Enzymes are really great, not only because they help us break down and utilize food and assimilate it and get it to the places in the body it needs to go, but also because enzymes are crucial for every cell to be able to function the way that it's supposed to in your body. We have a natural reserve of them. We get some from the food that we're consuming, but we naturally, as we age, get depleted of these enzymes. And so things like breathing takes enzymes to have a certain chemical reaction so that you're able to breathe. And so if you're decreasing in your enzyme counts throughout the years, and that comes from stress, that comes from not eating enough good food, that comes from all sorts of these outside factors. If you're not replacing and replenishing those, it means your body is not able to, it just doesn't have the store that it needs to do what it's supposed to. So enzymes is a great thing to throw in. Young Living has several for adults. I think there's a kid one. I've never given it to my son. I should, I know, but I think it's called Mighty Zymes. So that's another really good one to have on hand. Kind of also off book, but collagen is really great for your kids, especially if your kids have respiratory issues. Collagen is great for helping support the respiratory tract. So all of those airways, those passages, all of those things. The better bulked up your kid is on collagen, the more likely your kid's respiratory system is to be beefed up against illness and whatnot. So there's that. So those are kind of like your supplements. Kind of moving past that a little bit is hydration. I know that seems really like, okay, duh, but hydrating your kids is a good tip to helping their body work the way that it's supposed to. And not just hydrating with just water, but also think that whatever you can get in as far as like minerals is great. I know it's hard to find minerals that don't taste awful, but if you can blend them into smoothies, if you can sneak them into meals, that's going to be huge. Your body depends on mineral stores to fight off infection, to ramp up its immune system. And so having that on hand is super, super helpful to help kind of load up your kids' systems. Next thing is sugars. These are going to be kind of things to manage as opposed to like making sure you get in your system. It's more like how to protect your system against. I love sugar. I eat sugar every single day. So I am not here to bash sugar. What I am here to say is do sugar wisely. When you consume sugar, your immune system is slowed down for, I think it depends on like the amount of sugar, and I didn't do a ton of digging into this. It's a great place for you to go in if you're super curious, but up to, I think it's like 3 to 7 hours after you consume sugar, your immune system kind of takes a nosedive as far as how effective it is. So if you're wondering why your kids go out for Halloween, have all this sugar, are exposed to all of these other kids, and then get sick, and then they go to Thanksgiving and they're exposed to all the family and have all this candy and pie and cookies, and then December rolls around, like, you get what I'm going. The reason that it's so hard and your kids are getting sick back to back to back to back to back is, yeah, cold and flu is a little bit more prevalent because of some other, the sun, we don't have as much natural vitamin D, yes, but it's also because we have all these back to back sugar holidays, and sugar is dropping your kids' immune system. So just be smart, choose good sugars. The further away you can get from white sugar, like white bleached sugar, the better. Maple syrup is a great option. My son has that in his breakfast every single morning because that's how he likes his oatmeal. So just be wise about it. If you know you're going to be going out and about, and there's kids who were sick last week, maybe tell your kids, hey, you could have a sucker, but you also will have a higher likelihood of getting sick. Does that sound fun? And hopefully they'll still know, but you never know. Other things to do is to manage your environment. There are a lot of things on a daily basis that we are exposed to that are hard on our immune system and shut it down and slow it down, or cause it to misfire. That's kind of a whole different conversation. But what I'm really trying to get at is there's a lot of environmental factors that you can control. So exposure to environmental things like detergents, soaps, fragrances, those things have been scientifically proven to be hard on your system, hard on your immune system. So think about how you can be switching those out. If you love your Glade plugins, is it worth it to have a Glade plugin, or is it worth it to have a kid who's not sick every other day? Pull it out of your wall, throw it away, find something else. We love to use essential oils, we being everybody pretty much in this call. They're a good option. So that you don't feel totally deprived. We also, all of us have switched from using store-bought household cleaners, even the good ones that say they're green and clean. They're not actually. If you really dig into the ingredients, you'll find that they're really not as whole and good as you would hoped. I'm talking specifically about like Grove, Miss Myers. Those are some of the really hard ones that people love because they say they're so natural, but they're not that great. So we all switched and we use the Thieves one because your kids are touching every surface every single day, and whatever you're cleaning with is getting absorbed, into their system relatively quickly. Up to, about 2 minutes is about how long it takes for something to absorb into your skin and then be pumping through your bloodstream. So other things to think about, mold exposures. Mold has a litany list of things that it causes, but it also can be hard on your body and make you more prone to being sick. So look into, is there potential for mold? That's another call in and of itself, so I won't get too much further. The other thing that is interesting is your kids might be underexposed to naturally occurring bacteria. There was a study that was published several years ago. I can't quite remember, maybe 5, 8 years ago. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And basically what they found out that was kids who grow up on farms, who are running around like in nasty kind of environments, like they're running around with the chickens, they're exposed to dirt, they're eating dirt, they're licking rocks because kids are weird and they do weird stuff. Those kids had way better immune drive than all of the kids who have extremely wash your hands all the time. You always wear sanitizer. You don't go out and play barefoot. So they have found that underexposure is causing kids to have higher prevalence of sickness and illness because of the fact that your body isn't naturally exposed to these bacteria that are good for you. You want to get them in here. You want your kids' digestive tract to be lined with good, rich bacteria. And a lot of that comes from just letting kids go out and get dirty and not freaking out. It's okay if your kid goes to bed with dirty feet once in a while, okay? You're not going to die and neither will they. In fact, you're helping them. So those are some things to do. Other things, chiropractic care. There's been studies that show, I think it's like 70%. Um, there's a 70% decrease in colds and flus and ear infections in children, in groups of children who get consistent chiropractic care. So during the winter months, especially when we're more exposed, more sugared, all that kind of stuff, it's great to make sure your kids are getting that consistent chiropractic care. Um, let's see, other things, airflow in the house. I know that's kind of weird, but if you, I have a functional medicine doctor, and there's a lot of studies that I don't quite know all of the fine details to, but I know like the overarching results of them. They did a study that showed that teachers who have their classroom windows cracked open a teeny tiny bit, it does not need to be a breeze, just like a crack, and have a little bit better of airflow, had classrooms that were significantly less sick than other teachers that didn't. So having airflow in your house, a little tiny crack, if you can kind of do adjacent windows, one on this wall, one on this wall, for a little bit of better airflow, that's great. Some months here it gets to like -10, so I just close the windows and count it as a loss. It's okay. Again, it's all about doing your best, not being perfect. Another thing, humidified air is really great. And then the last thing that's kind of like a before care is nose swiping. So your mouth and your nose are like the biggest ways that a lot of pathogens get in. And so what we started doing recently, I think it was about 1.5 years ago that I learned it, maybe 2 years ago, is I will take like a big dollop of shea butter, or I will take a dollop of coconut oil, and I will take specific essential oils that are really, really great for helping your body just do what it's supposed to do. And I will swipe the inside of our noses before church, before going out with friends. Just kind of all of that stuff is great. It's great to help you go into those situations with a beefed up immune system. So that's something that's super helpful in kind of like the before care. So now we're going to move into what I like to call sick daycare. And I don't mean the daycare that gets your kids sick. So hold on one second. I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll restart and then we'll keep going.